Hello. This week you find me underneath the front of a car. Let me explain why. I've noticed there is a lot of people around these days that don't know how to maintain a car. And I'm not talking about doing real heavy duty maintenance. There's some stuff you pass on to someone else. Everyone has jobs they pass on. I have jobs I pass on to someone else. But the simple stuff, doing an oil change, that's something that anybody with hands and a bit of willing can do. Would this job be easier if I had a ramp that was up in the air? Yes. Would it be easier if I took the time to get the car little drive up ramps I've got, or to jack it up and put it under stands? Yes, that would all be easier. But I'm going to go on the assumption that if you're watching this, you don't have those things. And if you do, that's good. But if you don't, it is doable. There's many ways around the problem of not enough room under a car. I'll let you solve that as best you can. Right, let's get on to what you're going to need. Now, because old oil is carcinogenic, ideally you really want a box of gloves, latex gloves, powder free. Some are good, some are bad, they rip easily, they're not always great, but it does protect your skin and is well worth having. We're going to need a 13mm socket, an extension, a ratchet of some kind, and possibly a breaker bar. If you haven't got a breaker bar, you can use an extension tube or even both. And then the most important tool is a filter wrench of some kind. There are other types of oil filter wrench. They will do you no service whatsoever if you've got a Duratec. You might be able to get away with one of these strap type ones that you wrap around the filter, but I've had limited success with these because they quite often slip on the dirt, the grease, the oil that's sitting on the filter. So invest in one of these if you are planning to do your own maintenance. The other really handy tool to have is one of these oil drain bowsers. If you don't have one of these and you can't afford one, what I did for a very long time before someone actually gifted me this was I would get an old one of these, an empty one, and I would just cut the side out of it, because that's all you really need. And last but not least, obviously you've already seen this, we need some replacement oil to put back in the engine and a replacement filter. These have come from Euro Car Parts. This is not a sponsored slot. If you'd like to sponsor me, Euro Car Parts, get in touch, because I'd really love that. But otherwise, yes, I paid for this out of my own pocket. Now, I've just folded this to delete my information from in here, but obviously, yes, Euro Car Parts. I got the, that's cabin filter. We'll cover that at a later date. Oil filter. We've got the oil, and the total was £70, which, when you consider paying a garage £90 an hour, plus parts, plus VAT, this is significantly cheaper. And while it's not all about money, money does help, especially at the times like this when finances are a real crunch. The hardest thing is undoing the sump plug. This is your sump plug. It's on the back side of the sump, and the sump is where all the oil sits before it gets pumped around your engine. You need to undo this. When you undo it, all the oil is going to come flooding out effectively in your direction right now. Now, I've shown you my bowser, so ideally you want to crack it off, so just so that it's started to move. You put the bowser under, and then you undo it by hand and let the oil flood out. And I feel it's important to add, undoing this is in an anti-clockwise direction. It's important because if you are at the front of the car looking that way, anti-clockwise looks like clockwise. It's really awkward to get your head around, so it's important before you start undoing, you know that looking at this sump plug, which way you go to undo it. The easiest way I find to make sure you get it right is you set your ratchet first, and you make sure that when you twist it, you are undoing. You're doing your anti-clockwise. Now, you haven't changed the ratchet, you put it on, and you can try and undo it. You can try and crack it off at least. Now, there's not a lot of room here. I'm going to try my hardest. There it goes. There we go. This is the hardest part. As long as that comes undone, you should be all right. Okay. Bowser is in place. the oil is obviously going to go that way. So you want the back of your Bowser to be very close to the beginning. Some of it will trickle down as the oil starts to ebb away a little bit. All right, let's undo this and then be careful not to drop the sump plug. And there we go. So we'll let that drain off down there and we'll come back to you in a minute. While we're waiting for that to happen, what you can also do, a lot of people will tell you to undo the oil filler cap to let air in. You haven't got to take it all the way out, or also to lift out the dipstick, just so that any oil coming out, air comes in to replace it and you don't end up with it going glug, glug, glug. We are now at the dregs. We are just getting drip, 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 and the wind is starting to catch it. So it's time to get the sump plug back in. Looking at the sump plug quickly, you'll see there's a little rubber ring around here. That is a replaceable part. You can hook it out. You can even buy a new sump plug with a new ring in it. And while main dealers will tell you it is essential to replace this at every service, and I understand why. That will degrade, it will crack, and eventually it will leak. If yours is leaking, get a new little rubber gasket to go on it. This is the third oil change I've done on this car, and this is exactly the same one that was fitted when I bought the car. Hopefully you can see on the end here, there's just a little kind of couple of drips coming out, so I'm going to give it a wipe, just make sure the face is clean. Now, what am I using to do this? An old tea towel. If you want to buy some blue rag, go for it. It's lovely stuff. But I have in surplus old tea towels at the minute because we just did a new kitchen, as you may see from other videos on my channel. Right, sump plug is in. Just try and wipe the drips as they come down and wind in the sump plug as far as you can by hand. Now you do need to tighten this up. Got my ratchet. Let's set it for doing up. Now we're going to put it in place, and I'm just going to nip it for now before I talk about torquing things up. A torque wrench is something that tells you how tight you've done something up. It's important to know what torque is and how much you have to do something up. If you go too tight, you can rip the threads out of it. If you don't go tight enough, it might come undone. Now, you might appreciate with a sump plug, doing it up too tight, you rip the threads out, it's not going to hold oil. Don't do it up tight enough, and it could come undone by itself, and it's not going to hold oil. Either way, your engine's going to end itself. If you go on Google and you search, you will find somewhere between 18 and 30 Newton meters is the recommended torque setting, depending on the age, the manufacturer. There's so many varieties. I tend to aim around 20 to 25 Newton meters. And how do I know what that is? Here is my torque wrench, if I can get the camera to focus on it. I've set this to 25 Newton meters, and when you pull it, it will go click to let you know that is how tight it should be. At a length of, what's that, 2 foot, it's 2 fingers, and that's easy. I haven't got that much space. I've got about this much space, so that is a good twist of the wrist. And that is how I have done my torque setting. Yes, I know it's not the correct way, but holding it as close as you can to the center and twisting as tightly as you can is generally around about the right torque. If you go too far out on the lever arm of the ratchet, you're going to over torque it. Hand close to the center and as tight as you can twist it. And if you're not entirely sure, get someone who's got a short torque wrench to check it. Putting this on here and giving it a good twist down. That should be tight enough. Okay, on to the next tricky part. So you've drained the oil out. Now we've got to get the old filter off. And I said this was tricky because sometimes these like to stick to the aluminium on the housing. So let's break out my special tool. The reason I like these, this gearing system in here means as you turn the center, it actually tightens the claws against the filter. You just hold it in place and give it a twist, and there it goes. There we go. Now you've loosened it. It's just about finger tight. And before you get oil all over your face, get your Bowser back. get it in place and get ready to make a mess. Because as you undo it, the oil's going to trickle out. All over the driveway. Even with years and years and years of doing this, I still manage to mess it up every now and again. But it's not the end of the world. I'll be catching all that oil as it comes out there. So you're just going to want to leave it a minute to drain out and get the new filter ready. Now while underneath there the old filter is draining out and the housing is emptying, I should raise that inside the new filter there is currently no oil. Ideally we really want to fill it up just a little bit and put some inside there, but it can be a bit fiddly, hence my little extra tray here. You haven't got to fill it all the way to the top, just take your time to put some in the middle. There we are. About 9/10 full there. We just want to lubricate that seal. The old school guys will say, make sure you do that with a bit of old oil. And I could never really find a reason as to why it's old oil. I think it was just to not waste new oil. Now let's get the new filter in place. I'm just going to slide under. I'm going to put the new filter in place. There we are. Right, I'm going to give it a quick wipe because oil is still dripping out the housing a little bit. There we go. I'll twist it round with the rag to give me extra grip. And again, there is probably a torque setting to do this, but if you go hand tight, you should be absolutely fine. Oil drained, oil filter fitted, old oil has been captured. It's time to put some new oil in the engine. Now if you end up doing just the oil and not the filter, the oil capacity of the Duratec is 3.9 litres. If you're replacing the filter as well, it goes up to 4.3 litres. And when you buy the oil, it comes in a 5 litre pot. You're going to have some left over. What you see here is a funnel. It's only a little one, but it does come in handy. It's also got a little flexible end that can go on it because I need that for the other car. If you don't have one of these, you are likely to make a mess. However, it's not impossible to do without making a mess, and I was going to do so, but it's a bit windy today and I don't fancy my chances. What we're going to do is just pour the oil into the engine. Now, as I said, keep the handle down, tip it over. It means you can get it a lot closer to horizontal before the oil starts to come out, and then you can lift it up. There we go. And if you tip too far, it will glug. You want to be able to just keep it trickling in nicely and just keep an eye out for if it starts to flood over. Now if you stop, bear in mind there were 5 litres in this. There's little marks down the spine of this bottle here. So 5 litres was the total capacity. We put half a litre in the filter, and now we're down to 2.5. There's 2 litres in there. We've got to get up to 3.9. So a bit more glugging to go. We get down to about 1.5 lift in the bottle. Then we'll check on the dipstick and see where we are. Aha! Now, I don't know if you can see, maybe reflecting in the light, we are about a quarter of the way between minimum and maximum. So let's give it a clean. A little bit more oil. It is just, take your time, add some and check, and add some and check, and add some and check. I would say, if you can see that in the sunshine, that we are practically there. We're about 9/10 up the dipstick. So right now, we'll leave it there. You know you've got enough in to start it. Let's put the cap on and we'll give it a run. Now when we turn the car on to run it up, press the light, you'll notice on the right hand side here, the red light with the oil can on it. There you go, you can see it a bit better there. The ding donging is very annoying. But what we want to make sure is that when you start the car, is that that red oil light goes out. It might be a little slow, you might want to give it 2 or 3 seconds, but you want to make sure it goes out. There we go. Now we don't want to run for too long. We want to give it 30 seconds just to pump oil around the engine, and then the most important part, while you're waiting for the oil to settle back down in the sump again, go and get a cup of tea. So cup of tea now completed. Let's check the oil. Now You'll notice there's oil all over it after us running it. So give it a wipe. And I've always found that this with Duratec, you pull it out, clean it, and then when you put it back in, it actually gives you a true reading. What have we got? So we are now sitting right down, I don't know if you can see, right down at the very, very bottom. So let's get a little bit more oil inside this engine. Little bit by little bit, add some, give it a couple of minutes to get down in the sump, and then by the magic of editing, we can check it in a second. And there we go, I think that'll do. We are in between the minimum and the maximum. Now, while you can fill it all the way to the maximum, as long as it's between these two lines, that's okay. I prefer to keep mine as it is there, probably 2/3 to 3/4 of the way up. Now that we've started and run the engine, it is important to double check that there's no leaks. So you can see, nothing's dripping down off of the oil filter, nothing's dripping down off the sump plug. That is what you want. If you've got any leaks from anywhere that wasn't there before, stop, go back, check, seek assistance if need be. So there you have it. That is how to do an oil and filter change on a Duratec. Now this is a 2-litre Mondeo, but the Duratec was fitted in the Fiesta, the Focus, the C-Max, Mondeo, the Galaxy. There's loads of them out there, and it varies in size from 1.8 to 2.3 when in this configuration. There is a bigger 2.5, but I believe that has a different block casting, so there are some differences. But everything we've done here today should be applicable to any of those cars. If you get stuck in or at any point, drop me a message in the comments and I will answer as soon as I can and help out as I can. If you've got anything to add, anything I've missed, please chuck it down in the comments. Let me know. I would love to know. And if you've enjoyed that, stay tuned because we have got more Mondeo maintenance coming up in the future.